Here in Seattle, some of the longest standing companies that came back after the internment. This is Lily and her story, a descendant of Bainbridge Island. This place was very interesting, as I had never known that this was here in Bainbridge Island. And it's more of a, how long did it take for Seattleites in the Pacific Northwest to be more accepting of the Japanese people and culture?
I know, someone asked me that because, and I don't know, it's sort of a subtle thing, but I think open housing had a lot to do with it. Because people went out into the community, greater Seattle community. Because, see, as I pointed out when I was 12 years old, but see, I didn't point out that 10 years later, my husband and I got married, and the first apartment house we went to check on that had a vacancy advertisement, the manager took one look at us and said, "Sorry, we don't rent to Japs," and bang went the door. This is in 1955, 10 years after the war ended. And then our first house, we were ready to closed the deal, and the real estate agent, and this was in Eastgate, which is near Bellevue, and the real estate agent called us and said, "We're sorry, but the next door neighbors to the house were good friends of the sellers, and they don't want Japanese living next door." And so we said, "We don't want to live there either." And so then, and someone said, "When did that change?" And I can't say. It was sort of a gradual thing, I think, and because now, we don't even think about that. But there was a time when even on our honeymoon, we're driving to Los Angeles, and the first motel had a vacancy sign, and they also said, "Sorry, we're full." And we knew it wasn't because the vacancy sign was flashing. And then we stopped in a small town for lunch, and nobody waited on us, and we just knew. And so there was a long time when we didn't venture into unknown restaurants, even in the greater Seattle area, because we just didn't know how we would be accepted, and it made us nervous about lots of things. But then, because someone asked me that, I couldn't tell them how it changed. But it's been, I think gradually people got to know each other, and
Did you notice a big change after the big human rights movement with Martin Luther King Jr.?
I think that had a lot to do with it. And I always think, oh God, ours was just a small block of time, and just think of the blacks, they've been putting up with that for eons and still do. Even especially it's back to it today. And I marvel that why aren't people getting all upset about Korean Americans? What's going on with Korea? And I don't hear any of that. It's amazing to me, how all this, it's all this human nature, I guess.
It's changed.
Yeah.
Change is hard.
Yeah, it is hard. Yeah, but as an Asian American, I don't feel that. Because I remember being on guard about, especially after it happens to you personally. If it never happens to you, don't think about that. But when I lived through that, then I know it's a gradual thing, I guess, because people, and I hope it keeps changing so people are accepting others.
This is Clarence. He is the president of the Japanese American Society. The city of Olympia, Washington, and the city of Yoshiro, Japan, are considered sister cities. This Japanese garden is to represent their sisterhood. Even my daughter is immersing herself into Japanese culture.
You wanna try?
Oh no. I'll leave it to the professional.
Thank you. Egg roll. Oh yeah. Japanese. Ooh. Open your mouth, sweetie. Ah. Two. Oh, what? No problem. Oh yeah. Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola.